In the Power Ghost universe, characters are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the writers, who illustrate their crimes, and the audience, who judge the offenders accordingly. This video series is dedicated to the latter. Hey, welcome back, guys. Now I'm gonna be honest, I could not wait to get to this video, as Diana Tejada has taken perhaps the most treacherous leap of any character throughout this series. Sure, many of them have committed much more heinous acts than Diana herself, but it's the fact that she now sits opposite of Tariq in this pending war that is the most mind-boggling, given where she stood in the initial phases of Power Ghost. With Dru alongside her in their most ambitious action to date, we will assess their journey up to this point and decide just whether Dru and Diana, or as they've become to be popularly known as Druana, deserve to live or die in this final Power season. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Power. Here we go. Diana's journey in the Power Ghost series rests on two dichotomous sides: Diana the Sweet, the character we were introduced to in the early goings of Power Ghost, and Diana the Terrible, the character who now stands before us, not just some sweet young girl, but an ambitious young woman, willing to do anything to achieve the freedom that she's been yearning for all series long. Diana's main crime, believe it or not, has roots in her main virtue, and that is her love of freedom. Forced to be a soldier in her mother's army and holding no say in the matter, Diana was trained to be a woman after her mother's own heart and tutored in the arts of manipulation, murder, and deception at an early age. Although not committing any murders herself personally, but bearing witness to many murders, and shootings for that matter. Similarly, Dru Tejada operated just under Cain in the realm of family importance, as Cain was the de facto number 2 to his mother in the absence of their father, and the go-to enforcer whenever they had an issue to resolve on the streets. Dru would accompany his brother in these missions and would learn his way around the gun as a result. The enmity that was sown within his heart was born out of his father's desire for him to lead the family, as he had the level head of Diana and the brute potential of Cain. As Lorenzo once told Monet, he was the best of both. In fact, Lorenzo's plans for Diana was to never be in the drug life, but to go to school and to be the first legitimate Tejada to emerge from their family. And strategically speaking, this made sense, as when you have a criminal family, you have to have someone by blood in place to operate throughout the legitimate world. Every crime family, as I previously outlined with the Tejadas in prior analyses, have done this. From the Corleones right on down to the Sopranos. You have to have people moving in and out of the legitimate world as well as the street world in order for a crime collective to truly work. But Monet would see to it that her children remained in the family, in her control, and in line. And Diana always detested this, at sometimes more fervently than others. But as we assess her crimes and treacheries throughout the Power Ghost series, one mainstay that we find is that of deceit and thievery. Diana is perhaps most known for placing her nose where it doesn't belong, uncovering things that shouldn't be uncovered. It was Diana, along with Dru, who stole drugs from Tariq's locker, albeit to satisfy the aims of their father, but they still stole nonetheless. And she would emotionally manipulate Tariq whenever she was on a mission to get something from Tariq. And as benign as these moments seemed, they provided the perfect backdrop for her greatest treachery against her once love interest. Diana also stole her mother's money from under the bar, if you remember back in season 2. And although she did so for a virtuous reason, i.e. to spring Lorenzo from prison, she still stole $1 million that cost her mother a man's life, as she relayed to Diana prior to choking her out in the bathroom. But Monet really had no place to be upset with Diana, as she was the one who trained her, and would further that evil tutelage in the murder of Detective Whitman, providing yet another foundational piece in Diana's young but street-poisoned mind. Such evil on Front Street and demonstration could only beget more evil. And as we would see at the conclusion of season 3, Diana had learned very well. Additionally, it was Diana who discovered Tariq's role in informing Monet of Lorenzo's involvement in killing Zeke. After all, the documents were in Tariq's dorm room, and as she so shiftily does, she gained access to Tariq's dorm on more than one occasion and uncovered the documents, setting her greatest treachery in play. And that will be framing Tariq for the murder of Monet, along with Dru's help. Now, what is Dru's role in this? Well, if you remember, Drew, being the sucker for love that he's been throughout the Power Ghost series, with the likes of people like Everett, had gained another romantic interest in Gordo, who was also his play cousin, if you will. And Monet had a hand in tricking Drew to kill Gordo, rightfully framing him as the culprit who killed Lorenzo. And not only that, Dru also had a hand in killing the entire Castillo family. And it was from Evelyn Castillo, the matriarch of said family, where he would discover Monet's treachery against their father. And thus, along with Diana, concocted a plan in order to kill his very own mother, which despite her many sins against them and the game itself, is an unforgivable act, because none of us get here alone. And we were all ushered in through the avenue of a woman. We don't get to choose that woman from a sensibility standpoint, but we do have to regard and respect the fact that she brought us here. So although there's context for their treachery, we still have to judge it under this paradigm. And that may not even be the worst part of it, but it's the fact that they decided to frame Tariq for the attempt that places them on this potential death list. Because Tariq, although he's had his issues with Monet, had reached somewhat of an equilibrium with her. But in trying to maintain niceties with Diana, and having been tricked that it was Monet who revealed the true location of his mother to Tommy and others, he jumped right on Diana's manipulative bandwagon. And as our story progresses, we shall see how it goes once he learns the full depth of the plot against them. Diana has become the woman that Monet created, a woman after her own diabolical heart, and where she currently lays is a testament to her improvement on the model, as Diana has transformed into Monet on steroids and will likely get worse after committing that unthinkable act last season. But with that being said, what are your thoughts on Dru and Anna? And do they deserve to survive the final season of Power or to ultimately perish for their many sins against the game? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.